I'm someone that just loves the buildup. I love being matchmaker.
Yeah.
I love having people have sex around me. I love making people orgasm around me. And I've been part of like other orgy scenes in VR, but I want a fucking huge one, and I want everyone to have an amazing time.
Hey, I'm Ariel Demure.
Hi, I'm Maddie Collins. Hey guys, I'm Maya Wolf.
Hi, I'm Little Puck.
I'm Bree Mills, and you're listening to the Adult Time Podcast. Avery Black.
Bree Mills.
Adult Time Podcast.
Hello.
It's about damn time.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You get to be one of the first victims to our new set.
It's amazing.
What do you think about this?
I love it. I'm overwhelmed because I told you I thought it was gonna be like a colorful like background, and I had all these ideas, and I was like, okay, cool. I've seen it on the internet, and then I'm like, whoa, taking it back. I'm like, it's really nice.
But you still showed up in the official colors.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I have
you know a thing or two about Adult Time swag.
Of course.
As a producer, you have a lot of it. Yeah. You have a lot of it. You also are going to be one of my first victims for a new segment that we're starting with. And I would love to play a game of Hot or Not with you, just to see where this is going to go.
Gotcha.
Okay? So I'm going to ask you a question, or I'm going to say hot or not. I'm going to give you a subject, and then we are going to discuss your perspective on whether that is a hot or a not hot thing.
Got it.
All right. So let's start with something that, quite frankly, I don't think we see enough of in porn, and that is dry humping. Hot or not?
Hot.
Okay, why?
I mean, I just did it yesterday. One leg at a time.
I think you said one leg at a time doll. Did you say one leg at a time doll, or did I just hear the doll part being added?
I think I did say that.
I think you did.
I say lots of terms of endearment in my scenes just because, like, I'm a lover. But I do think dry humping is essential.
It's a good way to build up tension.
Yeah, I'm all about like foreplay before like any penetration or anything like super like sexual. Like I love the idea of just being like teased and just like getting prepared for like the good stuff.
There you go. What about receiving unsolicited nudes? Is that something that's hot or not?
Not hot.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, like strangers, no, thank you.
Yeah. You don't want to like get a cold call from a dick pic.
No, but lovers and friends.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But is there a time and a place to send a nude? Like the unsolicited, you could be out at the grocery store, you could be with family. Do you want that to just pop up on your notifications without some kind of like
context?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm personally prepared when it comes to my phone. I am prepared for anything not safe for work. So if it pops up, it won't come as a notification. Or it'll come as like a quiet notification, basically. So I'm just ready for anything spicy.
That's a smart move. I probably should add that to my phone.
I don't get it a lot,
I'm not set up for that. And I get all kinds of, I wouldn't call them nudes. And they're not necessarily unsolicited, but I get images.
There we go.
Sometimes, images that one should not see at the grocery store. What about, you mentioned the importance of dry humping for buildup. Mm-hmm. Is there ever a space for skipping foreplay? Is that ever hot, or is that always not?
To me, it's okay. I mean, like, yeah, you're getting the job done, but I'm someone that loves the buildup. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like a 60% foreplay, 40% penetration type of sex. Like, I just love, like, the tease. It's just, like, I like always very tense. So, like, the foreplay is where I get to relax and take myself out of, like, wherever I am right in that moment.
Okay. So this is like a bro to bro question because you shoot a lot of scenes. You also direct scenes.
Yeah.
Why is it that you think that there's never very much foreplay in scenes? And even people that like foreplay, we put it on our yes list, we talk about it. When it comes to actually like saying action and going for a scene, it's so often cut short. Why do you think that is?
I think I think I cut it short because, personally, I will cut it short because I think the audience themselves wants to see the actual down and dirty stuff. But I'm just like I said, I'm a lover, so I would love to see more just like slow pace, like beginnings of porn. We just stop in the middle of it and just do foreplay for like fucking 20 minutes. Like, I love that shit.
We should make that should be a challenge in an upcoming production.
Oh, like a buzzer goes off and you have to chill and just like,
Yeah.
like,
or it's like
out of it.
We're gonna do a scene and we're gonna put like no constraints on, like no expectations on how fast we have to get to the action. Yeah. Especially with I mean, obviously with guy partners, with girl partners, like it goes both ways. But like I know one of the things that lesbian porn fans always ask for is more kissing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go.
I love that.
That gives us foreplay. Mommy or daddy talk, hot or not?
Hot sometimes. So like, I guess like warm?
Yeah. Lukewarm.
Lukewarm. Yes. I mean, lately I've been called mommy a few times, and it's something that I didn't see as a sexual thing, but then Oliver, my husband, was like, no, it's like when girls say daddy. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. And whatever. But I mean, I like saying daddy. I mean, like, it's also just like an earned title. Like, you know, like, I'm not gonna call anyone daddy.
Yeah, you have to earn that. It's like a term of respect.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which could be applied to the mommy category.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Kim always calls me mommy, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because it's cute. Because then that just gets cute, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. I feel you on that. Watching porn with your partner. You mentioned your husband Oliver, also in the industry.
Yes.
Do you all watch? Is that something you do, or is just too much porn shooting? So
yeah, to be honest, sometimes when we get home from work, we talk about porn, and then we're just like, all right. So anyway, like we just need a little break for it, because I mean, like, yeah, it's like sex, then porn, like intimacy, and just like all of it together with like our lives and our work and everything, and it as amazing as it is, like, it's okay to just like want breaks from porn.
Listen, I think so much about porn that I can't even remember the last time I watched it for pleasure.
Same.
Because you kind of can't, like, it becomes this weird thing in like it's this sort of, it's always you're thinking about like something that would work as a scene, or how to like put it together, or how to film it, or how to, you know, like, it's not, and you know everybody. Right?
Yes.
So you know everybody, you know the locations. Yeah. I can't.
Oh my God, the locations.
And it's either like you look at it, you're like, oh, I know that place. Or you look at it, you're like, damn, where did they find that place?
Yeah.
Why can't I find places like that?
I know. I'm like, who do I ask for the contact info?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what crew worked on this? Who should I hit up to find out the location? Yeah. So it's not something that you all ever really do. Do you ever watch, do you perform in many scenes together? Like, what's your kind of stand on that?
For a while we did. Like, we kept getting booked together. But he's been mostly doing like VR performing, and I obviously don't shoot that much VR as much as he does, because he shoots it like, I don't know, like fucking 20 times a month. And so I don't get to see him those 20 times a month. But like when I do get booked with him, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's so like natural, and it just like brings me back to when we first started dating or whatever, and we were just like, I'm scared to touch you. It's just like a full circle type of moment.
Was that something that the both of you had to kind of navigate, or has it always felt really kind of like smooth and easygoing and fun to perform together? It's like work and life sometimes should be separate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because we do have hands in different types of like porn, like when it comes like behind the scenes, like in the scenes, and like, so like it's just very much work at that point. But I mean, like when we get on set and when we just start having sex, like we still think about the boring things, like opening up and making sure everyone sees the action. But then at the end of the day, I keep accidentally saying, I love you during it.
Yeah, which is, for the right scene would be amazing.
Yes.
For not the right scenario could be strange. Something that I hope is never something that you have to go through, but hot or not breakup sex.
Oh, very hot.
Very hot. Okay.
Very, very hot.
Okay. Why?
Because it's just like, all right, let's see, did I make a mistake in breaking up with you or not? And then usually it's just like, oh, that was hot, but I think that like closed. That was a good like chapter ending footnote type of thing. Like, okay.
Breakup or makeup? What's the better type of sex?
Makeup sex.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, ultimately the chapter, you're like, oh, I don't want that chapter to close yet.
Yeah.
So then it just transforms into makeup sex.
Exactly. It's just like, what can I do to like show him a little razzle dazzle?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is great, right? Remember this?
Speaking of razzle dazzle, my last hot or not question. Have you ever experimented with remote controlled toys? And is that something that is hot or not?
I think it's hot, but no, I have not.
Yeah.
No, I think that's something I actually just definitely missed out on now that I think about it.
It's I will say, without delving too much, it's a hot idea, but in practice, you run into too many technical difficulties.
Or like,
And the troubleshooting will often make it go from hot to not, where you're like, you know, you're trying to be impulsive and just like press whatever button, but then you don't see a reaction. So then you have to kind of be like, did you feel anything? And it's like, okay, let's just take a minute. Let's control the settings. Yeah.
the Bluetooth disconnect.
The Bluetooth disconnects. Yeah. But some of them are cool because you can do them from like supposedly at a distance, right? Like if your partner's traveling and you're back at home or whatever. But the Bluetooth does not often stay connected.
I need to research more about that and do my own type of field work.
You do. You should.
In my personal life with that.
I think that's a really good takeaway from this segment. So, Avery Black, how did you become Avery Black? Tell me your journey into porn story, please.
Oh, you want me to tell you the lore?
I want you to tell me the urban legend.
Okay, so I was 21, 22. Working like 3 different jobs and going to school and stuff. And then this manager that I was working at, one of my jobs, like retail, and I was like seeing him, having sex with him. And then he was like, oh, you should be a cam girl. Cause like I was hell horny back then. I mean, I'm still always horny, but like not as much as I was back then. And then I was like, what's that? And then he said, okay, just come over one day. And that's where it all like happened. Like we had just like, he was like, let's go have sex on camera. And it was like live streamed. And from there, it just like progressed, but at a rate that I really enjoy and loved because it's always like, I want to go at things at my own pace.
Yeah.
I want to evolve at my own pace. So it's like I only did solo stuff after like doing a few shows with him, lots of solo stuff. And then I didn't even do any like partnerships or like collabs or whatever for so long. But yeah, so camming 6-7 years, started performing because I wanted to have sex with people, and became a Spiegler girl, and then became a director, and now I'm right here.
And now you're on the Adult Time podcast.
Yeah.
The guy that you were seeing at the time, was he already doing camming? And he kind of he just sort of had this like, this is going to be a good plan for us.
Yeah.
He was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had such an entrepreneurial like vision for me.
Yeah.
And it was something I definitely loved. I loved it. And I had no idea what a cam girl was. But the moment I figured it out and he showed me, like, we would just be like eating dinner and like date night at the fucking laptop, watching all like cams and doing my research and taking notes. Yeah, it was really cool.
It's funny because that's like pretty much carbon copy, like my wife's journey into porn story.
Yeah.
So what was the platform that you started on?
Chaturbate.
Okay. Yeah.
That they will always have a very, very sweet, close place in my heart. Like I've done like sponsored trips with them and done like I've worked very closely with them and like all the gang and like I've like seen other like performers from there or like cam girls from there grow into performers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like nice having this like parallel relationship with them, and I'm like, yeah, look at us go.
So what do you think? It's interesting because like there's obviously like a number of popular cam platforms and some like Live Jasmine have been around forever. My Free Cams have been around forever.
Yes.
With Chaturbate, what do you think is sort of unique about that brand that has been able to kind of create a group of cam performers that have become successful adult performers and also, porn performers that have gone and worked on Chaturbate, campaigns and stuff. What about them sort of sticks out as being like good for that kind of like sort of unity?
I mean, they're just run by a really wonderful team. And even though I haven't cammed there in like so long, like they still keep in touch with me. Like they check in on me and it's so nice. Like they have a really good support system over there. And just the platform is really cool because it's like, you can like just see more than just a solo girl performer. Like there's like couples, gay, like trans, so many different things that you can see, like, and just find out. Like, you don't even know what you like until you see it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, you mentioned like you were doing a lot of research, and part of what you really enjoyed in the time you were camming was just being able to like at your own pace, build your own kind of persona. And what were some of your favorite like elements of camming, right? Because everybody can kind of create their own really creative stuff to do with fans, and like it's a kind of a really creative space for people.
Yeah.
So what were some of your like highlights during your time as a cam girl?
Look, honey, the first step towards realizing your dream might be building a family.
This is Grace, and she's gonna be able to take care of you no matter how sick you feel.
Where are you going?
I need to go shopping.
I already have everything prepared for you.
Hey, you can't drink that much caffeine. Honey, it's just not a good time. Okay, it's just not a good time.
Matthew, please.
It's just...
Matthew, just give me your hand! Give me your hand! Give it to me!
Get out of my way.
It's just fine.
Get out of my way.
What's her temperament like?
Worrying.
Not good.
I want you to make me mother.
Let's take some time to think about it.
I want you to make me mother.
What do you think?
I don't want you here anymore! I want you to make me a mother.
You're not supposed to be doing this. You know you're on bed rest.
I want you to make me a mother.
We're gonna have to make a decision in her perineum.
I want you to make me a mother.
There you go, Mama. You're doing such a good job.
I want you to make me a mother.
Laura, you are fully dilated, all right? It is time for you to start pushing.
I want you to make me a mother.
I know how sacred motherhood is. You're bringing a baby into this world. Isn't that just so special?
It sounds so boring, but like my favorite thing when I was camming, like top, was just coming home from like doing anything and just being able to talk to them, like not having a sexual type of thing. Like, yeah, I'll be like in my panties sometimes I'll just be wearing a big comfy sweatshirt, and like just having that relationship with an audience that like is like, no, you don't have to take your clothes off. We just like you for who you are. Just like, we want to catch up with your day. I want you to hear about my day. It's just like such a wonderful relationship. And I will just like always just love Chaturbate for that and what it's given me. And like, just like the other performers on there are so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did some of those fans that you kind of developed on Chaturbate and through camming, did you find them come over and follow your journey when you started shooting content?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
They've like actually just watched the whole thing. I have this fan that works at the gym I go to. And one of the first times I went there, he stopped me. He was like, oh my God, Avery Black. And I was like, God damn it. My face is like rough because I was just going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, blah, blah, I've been a fan for a long time. And to me, I'm like, oh, you probably just say that. But then he messaged me. He was like, no, I've been a fan since like you were on Chaturbate. And I was like, wow, that was almost a decade ago. So, I mean, like, yeah, they've definitely crossed over to like me and like just evolved with me becoming a performer and everything like that.
What were some of your what were some of the kind of biggest lessons you'd say you learned once you started shooting content?
I learned a lot about boundaries with people. I learned a lot about communicating with boundaries, because it's also like collabs meant people that necessarily weren't professional performers. So it just like I was able to have a real conversation basically with someone that is not necessarily a performer, but like just a regular sex haver.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's something they could apply to their like real life, and I would be able to apply into my real life and just like be able to communicate so much better.
100%. Did you find a big change from when you started shooting content to over the last few years in terms of just like the importance of consent and communication? Or with you, was that always something you like came in from the get-go making a point to bring into your scenes?
It was definitely something I've always done, but as I've like grown, I can tell better when someone doesn't really want to be vocal about what their comfort is. So I'm like way better at like picking up on like visual and social cues, and just like, I know when someone doesn't want to say something, you know, and I make sure even if they don't want to, I just like try to make it as comfortable for them as possible and make sure like I still respect their boundaries and just keep checking in on them. Like, it's just like probably the biggest thing that porn in general has like taught me.
And inspired you to not only star in content, but also become an intimacy coordinator.
Yeah.
So this is what, you know, we had worked together a couple of times as just a performer, but this was definitely the thing that got on my radar with you when you started doing the intimacy coordinator role and kind of started to reach out to us about starting with that. So can you tell us a little bit about what that role entails, how you first got involved in it, and really what that brought to your career in terms of like just awareness and experience?
So there was a fairly new director. He was trying to set new standards and stuff, and wasn't really necessarily getting there with what he wanted to do. But he approached me because he was using Oliver as a performer quite a bit, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to be a PA/intimacy coordinator?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So like helping someone coming from more of a mainstream set navigate into the world of porn, and like having them like develop like real relationships with people, and like getting them to understand people's limits has definitely been. It was a task. It was a daunting task.
Yeah, it's something that people take for granted too, right? I've encountered this as well, like great talented people coming from outside of the industry, but like you realize how little they know about how to produce content that's adult content. And it's always about the communication aspect, right? Which kind of makes you think why, I guess why there's so many intimacy coordinators now on mainstream sets, right? Right. But yeah, so that you got started, you know, helping kind of build that role, build that function. I was so impressed. So you reached out to us. It was like one of the most professional emails. No. Listen, this is full Avery shout out. I want the world to know it was one of the most professional emails. It was so eloquent, well put together, kind of outlining, you know, what you do as an intimacy coordinator, what you would want to bring to work with us. And I remember at the time, because at Adult Time we have a little bit of a different approach to talent aftercare, where we have like a dedicated, you know, team of liaisons that work with our crews, but they're kind of coming from our core team versus, you know, independently contracted by our producers. So at the time I was like, oh, it's not, we don't have an exact spot, but I was so impressed by the quality of the email and obviously the care of, you know, the whole importance of like aftercare and consent and all that stuff to you, that when we started to see that you were dabbling in the VR space,
yes,
I remember saying to our content director and our team, what if we gave Avery a try? And it was because, honestly, I hadn't seen you direct anything, but I had read that email, and there was just such a professionalism and a passion behind that. And then you got started working with us. So maybe tell everybody a little bit about that part of your journey, because the work you've been putting out, thank goodness it was a good risk, because you're doing amazing work.
Yeah, I mean, so like I was asked about like other VR directors from y'all, and I was like, me?
Yeah.
I was like, me, pick me. And it's something that I remember specifically in the morning when I like was emailing back and forth with y'all, and I was like, you know what? I have literally nothing to lose. And if they say no, that's fine. And then you guys said yes. You said yes, Bree. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. That just made me want to like put myself out there for anything at that moment. I was like, literally the worst someone can say is no.
There's a Wayne Gretzky quote. This is like one, outing me as a Canadian, and two, as like a middle-aged lesbian sports fan. But there's a Wayne Gretzky quote that I always tell my team at nauseum, which is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And it's so true.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Nobody knows what's going on in your head unless you say it out loud.
Worst they can say is no.
Mm-hmm. Thank God you said yes.
No, well, yes. Anyway, so how has that experience been so far, and what have you learned, and how is it different from performing?
I mean, it's killer. Like, it's so fun. So I still bring the whole intimacy coordinating idea into my own sets. Rather than just having a separate person as far as an intimacy coordinator, I use my makeup artist. She also worked on the other sets with me that I was intimacy coordinating before, and I really learned a lot from her that people open up in the makeup chair. Like, someone's this close to your face, and so they're talking to you, and you're talking to them, and then, like, for some reason, they want to unload. And it's just like, you're there for, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours straight, just talking to them, and, like, you get to learn so much about this person from, like, the makeup artist perspective. And so that definitely sets the tone in, like, the beginning of the day, which I fucking love, because I have such a wonderful makeup artist, and she is so nice, and she gets so, like, she gets the best out of the girls. Like, I've never seen anyone like just talk to people so easily. And so I love her for that. And like, so we have her there, and then she's constantly checking in while she's doing touch-ups, and she's like, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, Jonna's your makeup artist and your intimacy coordinator. So if you don't feel comfortable talking to me, you can talk to her. And so, yeah, that's like one of like my most important parts, like becoming a director, that I still had the intimacy coordinator role.
Yeah.
But becoming a director from the performer aspect is really, really great, because I've heard not to toot my own horn, but I've heard so many like performers be like, wow, this is really cool, like having a performer as a director, because like they know how to be in the dirt, and just like they know what you're going to feel. They know what you probably don't like. They know like what's the difficult parts of shooting. And yeah, I'm just here for it. I'm always still learning and listening from all the performers that I meet every single time. And it's just great. I love it so much. I love directing.
Do you, I mean, I completely agree about the added value of having the experience of being a performer to go behind the scenes. Because, you know, and we have, myself included, some great directors who have not done those roles and are still, you know, kick ass and you know, care about everybody and all that stuff. But we're never going to have that direct experience. We're never going to know what it feels like to like be in the middle of that 100-degree day outside in pile driver or whatever other crazy thing we're asking. Like there's just a level of empathy and understanding that is so valuable. And that's in part why I really encourage, when there's professionalism and talent and drive to back it up, giving performers the chance to take that shift, because it's I think it's the next generation of our great content producers will be people that have come from in front of the camera to behind the camera. So you're slowly taking over, which is good. It's good.
I remember one specific time I was on set. I wasn't performing, I was intimacy coordinating, and it was for the director I used to work for. He doesn't direct anymore, but there was a moment where I was like, what are we doing here? This is not right. Like, you can tell the performers are not comfortable. Like, and I was like, as a performer, I would never do this to my performers. I mean, like, as my crew or my, like, anything. Like, everyone was in a very uncomfortable position, and it was like in a warehouse, like in the middle of winter, garage open, and like Nuru everywhere, and it was a VR thing, and all over was the performer, and like it was all wet, and so it's like, how is he supposed to keep a boner with all these different things going on. And I'm like, as me as a director now, I'm able to communicate, like, this is my vision, but like, I want to work with you with this vision.
Yeah. Well, and also know going into it, like, that's probably not a good mix of ingredients, right? Like,
No.
Which you usually only know from having experienced a shitty time like that you now know, like, we should not ever, do that. It's like, I mean, I remember when I was first writing porn scenarios, it was like a joke, because I'm like, oh, sunny California, where it's always so hot and sunny. And I'm like, for my February batch of scripts, I'm going to make them all pool scenes. And then it's like, no, Bree, it is not pool weather at that time. You need to wait till the summer. And so you learn by doing.
Yes.
It's time to play.
Today, I have a breaking news scoop for you, and it is an all-girl showdown going down. On one hand, we have the Cougar Queens of Chaos, led by the fierce and the fearless Raven.
Hoedown, throwdown.
And on the other hand, we have the Mothers of Mantis, commanded by the bold and the brilliant Blaze.
All right, bitches, you know what to do.
These badass bims are ready to throw down and show the city what they're made of. So queens, mothers, I challenge you to strap on your gear and head over to that whorehouse. It's time for you to come out and play.
Fucking lesbians.
Hey, why don't you guys show this city that you can slay together?
But what would you say are like some of the unique challenges to directing VR, especially compared to standard scenes?
It's very, very led by the female performer, but also it takes a lot for the male performer because they can't do anything, they can't see anything. There's a big like camera in front of their face, and like basically it's like having sex with your eyes closed and not knowing what's going on around you, basically, but being able to like also keep quiet and all of that.
Like a sensory deprivation tank. Yeah.
Which
kind of
someone's
sounds
kink.
nice, honestly.
I personally like shit like that. I'm like, yes, I want the dark to have sex. I want like no noise. I don't want anything. But the female performers that carry those scenes, it's really hard for them sometimes, and it takes a lot. So it's not necessarily something I want to like throw like a brand new performer in because it's a lot of talking, and it's a lot of talking to yourself.
Yeah, and you have to maintain a certain kind of position with the camera. But yeah, like just having the confidence to like, Cherie DeVille for 45 minutes in front of the camera. I always say Cherie because I've never seen anybody freestyle like Cherie by herself for an hour. Yeah. Do you have other directing ambitions beyond VR? I know that I think you're starting to shoot some non-VR scenes for us, right? Yeah. So what would be like your dream production project?
I mean, honestly, my dream production project is still a VR scene. Yeah. I just want to do like after yesterday, it just totally inspired me. I did it, you were there.
I was there, and we will be talking about that.
It was a giant orgy girl scene. Like, I love that, and I've been part of like other orgy scenes in VR, but I want a fucking huge one, and I want everyone to have an amazing time because it is VR, so VR is difficult.
How would you shoot it? Would it be like voyeur?
Yes.
VR, like basically just wandering as if you were, able to go and wander and check out all these aspects of an orgy, or would you be in the orgy yourself as the VR?
I would think mostly just watching because that's the whole like sensory like performance when it comes to just having the goggles on, and it's like you're in the actual room, and like when's the last time you're able to like be other than us, to be able to be in a room with like fucking 20 girls like fucking each other.
Yeah,
like that's
true.
crazy.
Well, and for so many like kind of people that have lifestyle fetishes or like, fantasies about group sex or swinging or, going even as simple as like going into a brothel or going into a like play party.
Yes.
I find like VR could be such an interesting space to like give people immersive, near hyper-realistic virtual experiences that they're maybe not going to get in their small town because that community doesn't exist.
It doesn't. And also it's like a lot of people, like, how do you even seek that out for most people, like the regular person?
Yeah.
Like you just say, hey, Twitter, or excuse me, hey, X, where's the next orgy sex party in Kansas?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where.
I don't know what that would be an interesting party. I'm sure that there are. If there's anybody listening who organizes it, let us know. We'll come and film it as a VR scene. Okay, so I have a question for you about, because you've obviously spent like a good amount of time like in the VR niche. Mm-hmm. What are like the rules that you've gleaned from VR fans? Like at the end of the day, do they want voyeuristic scenes, or do they want the feeling of being the character and, seeing the, fantasies interact with them? Like what? Because I've always been super interested in breaking the formula, but from what I understand, like there's some pretty like stringent, like we want this kind of content from that market.
Oh yeah. So I mean, obviously, like VR is not cheap as a consumer. You got to buy the headset and you got to pay for the subscription, and it's something that the fans are very, very vocal about. They want very specific things. They want two girls to do this thing. They want whatever, and it's a lot of logistics. But at the same time, I think there's like a huge, huge market and like community that would love to see, first of all, female POV and just regular like scenes in VR. I mean, like I've shot one female POV scene where I was the female position, and the comments were crazy. Like they were like, there's so many dudes saying, "Oh, this is disgusting. Why am I having sex with a dude?" And I'm like, maybe it's just not your scene for you to watch. Maybe you should just keep scrolling.
But what about like lesbian VR content? Because I would think that could be interesting, where for those that want to like, because a lot of lesbian porn fans like don't want a dude anywhere in the vicinity, but maybe they would want to be one of the women, like that to me would be, we just shot it's not a VR scene, but we just shot a scene with Leanna Lovings for her series, Intimately POV. And we did a lesbian POV where we sort of switched perspectives throughout the episode. Like, so as the viewer, you get to kind of see both sides, both characters' perspectives. I'll be really interested to see when that comes out, because you always see people searching for lesbian POV, and there's like no lesbian POV content. Yeah,
and then that's another thing with the female POV VR scene. There were so many girls, and it just being like, we need this.
Yeah.
Like, I want this. And I'm like, I'll give you it.
Yeah.
I loved performing it. It was like a BGBG. So it's just like dicks and holes, and so great. Just like all of them meshed together.
And you had to be in the sensory deprivation tank?
Yes.
And so were you just...
Yes.
What happened?
I can't see, but I hope we're all having a great time. Yeah. I also I like to describe VR in the sense when because you've been on set with me once.
Yeah.
But I don't think you were there when the actual performance was happening, right?
No, I think I saw I was just there for the kind of intro sequences. Yeah. So I like to describe VR from a female, or whoever's in front of the camera, to be at the optometrist and the gynecologist at the same time, because you have this huge camera just right in front of you, this close, but then you're on your back and you're legs open, just welcoming the things inside of you. And it's so weird to look at, and it's so strange to film, and it's just I think that's my kink, just filming weird perspectives. All right, I have a weird idea that came from you describing that whole thing. Yeah. Okay, so I have a series called How She Reacts, where it's a split screen where you see the girl's face and then you see stuff that's being done and you see her reaction. Yeah. And what if we were to take your concept of a deprivation tank? Okay, so we put the person in the deprivation tank. We rig a camera inside and light somehow. We've got great gaffers, so we'd figure it out. Hell yeah. So we can see inside, those videos, people that are buried alive in the boxes. Where you can see what's happening to them inside the deprivation tank. Well, and they've, full consent, disclosure, like, here's my boundaries. So within the boundaries, whatever happens outside the tank happens. And then you just have a whole bunch of shit going down outside the tank, and then the reaction inside the deprivation tank. Could that be a new niche?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
I think we should try.
1,000%.
If people think that should be a new niche, we will know from your engagement on this video or this clip.
Yes, please, please.
Good.
Please.
You're speaking of something that does sort of sound like a true crime. I hear that you are a big fan of true crime and sitcoms.
Yes.
Now, true crime sitcoms? Or
no.
True crime and sitcoms. Okay, so what are some of your favorite watches?
I love everything like basic from like Friends to like, Office and all those things. But I don't know if it's considered a sitcom, but what I've been binging and re-binging on is What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that, but I feel like that takes a little bit of my true crime like love and just puts it in there because it's all silly. It's just like blood and a tiny bit of gore, like palatable. Like I'm scared of everything.
Yeah.
But it makes it silly, so I love that.
Yeah, so you can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, true crime I fucking love. Actually, I was watching a bunch of cases right before I got here.
Okay. What is the true crime case that morbidly fascinates you the most? Because I'm also a bit of a true crime
really
aficionado. Yeah.
Why am I just figuring this out?
Have you seen Pure Taboo?
That's true.
Okay,
wait, that's a really good reflection of it. Yeah. I can't think of any one case in mind. I did, however, just watch a little YouTube video about this one guy who buried some person in his backyard, of course, and the only reason why he was confessing was because he was getting evicted. And so he was like, hey, landlord, by the way, there's a dead body literally under the flower bed.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. And like I was watching a lot of the clips from like when he got arrested and everything. We didn't really get arrested at that moment. They were just like, what are you talking about? They came there and like, what are you talking about? This is weird. And then he was like being very vague about everything, but also being very specific about like what he did. And it's just like, I love watching shit like that.
There was a book that my dad, like, big library. Was a university professor, so like all the classics, but he had a real soft spot for true crime paperbacks.
Ooh.
And so, if there was some sordid case, like Jeffrey Dahmer or like something like that, he would always get those paperbacks. And as kids, we would be like,
Were you allowed to?
Well, I mean, they were in the library. And we were not heavily supervised. So It was at our discretion. And he had this book. I will never forget it. He had a book called Hunting Humans, which is the encyclopedia of serial killers. And the edition at the time was just like a red leather hardcover.
Ooh.
And with no jacket, just the hardcover. And so you could see it on the library from a mile away. And it was like it called to you because inside were encyclopedic entries of like every documented killer. And my brother and sister and I would like routinely sneak into the library and like pull the book out and just cold open a page.
Wow.
And there was one guy, not a super famous one, but there was one picture, because they would have pictures, in the entries. There was one guy who was so fucking scary looking, like just big ears and like little glasses. He just, for whatever reason, burned in my psyche.
Oh my God.
And I haven't seen this book for years, but I will never forget just like the thrill / terror of like, do we pull down Hunting Humans and look through it?
The answer is always yes.
Yes, but then you might come across that guy's picture and then
I know you probably don't remember the story or who it was, but I'm so interested in that now.
No,
I want to know what traumatized you.
I mean I'll tell you what was the most traumatizing part about that. And then this was a different time. But we lived in France when I was younger for a period of time, because my dad was teaching over there. And we were taking a train from where we lived in the south of France to Paris. It was an overnight train.
Okay.
And I don't know why, But my dad got 2 train cars, one that he was in, and then one that my siblings and I were in, and then just a man was in the same train car as us. So it was like us, we were all like under 12, and this man who was a perfectly harmless man. Who didn't say a word to us, but looked like the guy from Hunting Humans. And we, the 3 of us, spent the entire night just like eyes peeled, staring across the bunk at this innocent French man who was very much a serial killer in our mind. And that was what was the main source of the trauma.
I love that.
But when I feel compelled to have the book, I will share who he is. I will find the picture and share who he is.
Please. I love true crime when it comes to just like the not very popular stories. Like, cool, Jeffrey Dahmer, whatever. But like also just like, what is this person in this big town doing when nobody's looking and nobody's like even discussing because the city's so big and nobody really cares about this one killer,
He left a week ago.
Remember to call me.
I'm really lonely. And there are days where the only other voice I hear is my echo. Yes, Christine, I'm familiar with AI. I don't live under a rock. Oh my God. I thought you were Daryl. It's so real.
I'm not your stepson. I'm an AI companion. I have plenty of suggestions to help you explore intimacy safely and privately.
This is a lot to take in.
Would you like me to call you mom like he does?
I didn't realize how much I'd missed it.
You got it, Mom. Mom? Mom? Are you down here?
For me, what always is fascinating is like, we always look at these people as monsters, and they do monstrous things, but they're people. And when you really start to think about like how somebody rationalized this behavior, that's terrifying, but it's also fascinating because like everybody, and that to me is actually like, I put that in a lot of my, the sort of duality of human beings is a theme I explore a lot in my work because it's something that I find so fascinating. And that's what I think why I like true crime is like that person sat with themselves. That person probably was racked with guilt in between like these horrific things that they did. But that is not like a villain from a cartoon or a comic book. That's a human being. That,
it's not always black and white.
Yeah, it's not. It's so like the fact that you can kind of convince yourself that it's that to do these things and to keep on going, until you get evicted and then you call and say, hey, by the way, there's a dead body in the flower bed.
It's not necessarily like you're sympathizing with them or anything. You're just like, this is a person.
Just to study. Yeah, just to study like that human being was capable of that. All human beings are capable. Good people do bad things, and bad people are human. That I always, to me, that's like a thread line through all of Pure Taboo, is the fact that like good people do shitty things and can rationalize why.
Yep.
Well, switching subjects, there's two more subjects I want to talk about before we go to rapid fire that don't have to do with murder.
Okay, I guess, whatever.
One of them is I would love to hear about you and your lovely husband's origin story. Did you meet before porn? Did you meet in porn?
Okay, so he was dating a content creator as well at the same time as me being a cam girl, and people would always be like, oh, you two look alike. We don't. We were just Filipino, or are Filipino. But so he was very popular in the cam community, content creator community, because I don't know, he was cute or whatever.
Yeah, he's a cute guy. Like, and a nice, non-threatening guy, too, right? Like somebody would be like, okay, cool, I would collab with him, yeah.
Exactly. So he was like one of those people. And like, the bar's on the floor sometimes when it comes to dudes.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh my God, he's handsome. And he asked me about my day, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, people were just thirsting over him on Twitter. And like, I remember this one specific tweet where he like took a fucking picture of his fucking like veins in his arms, and girls were thirsting over it like crazy. And I was like, okay, mute. I'm like, I didn't even follow him. I was like, dude, this sucks. And I was like, this guy seems fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But anyway, fast forward to he's single at one moment, and there was like an AVN. I forgot which AVN it was, but my friend's trying to meet up with him and bang him or whatever. And then I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
I love being matchmaker.
Yeah.
I love having people have sex around me. I love making people orgasm around me.
So you were trying to hook him up with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't. They didn't. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. He goes back, or we go back to LA. He stays in Vegas because he lived there. And then I think it was like February, he was coming back to he was coming to LA for work, and I was like, hey girl, let me hook you up again. Let me try to make this happen. Mm-hmm. Didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And I tried to make it like 2 or 3 times in a row happen. Like 2 or 3 nights in a row, I was trying to make it happen
you
for
were
her.
you were being a good bro, like a good wingman.
Yes, I love being a wingman. And I was like, come on, dude, just do it. Like, don't be weird about it. You're making it weirder than it has to be. And then they never had sex. And at that point, like, we had been together for a couple nights in a row, like all 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And like, I was like talking to him like a regular person, and she wasn't really talking to him. And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, why are you talking to him more than he's talking to me? And I'm like, I don't know, because I have words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so obviously they don't have sex. And at one point, I'm like, I invite him back over because I'm like, well, somebody has to have sex with him. So, okay, I'll do it. And then
you live happily ever after.
Yes, now we're married as of 1.5 years.
Excellent. Well, we love working with Oliver as well. He actually just had the lead role in a Pure Taboo feature that Ricky Greenwood directed. So that's coming out in November. Maybe by the time this pod airs, it will be just hitting the airwaves. So.
Hell yeah.
And we just shot a very cool project together yesterday.
We did. Great. That was probably one of the best scenes I've shot in my whole career.
So
like my favorite.
Can you tell everyone, I mean, we're going to drop this on the platform in December. Mm-hmm. Can you tell everyone what we did yesterday?
Okay. The beautiful, the talented, the very sweet Kimmy Kim came up with this idea of an AAPI orgy, Asian American Pacific Islander.
Yeah.
Orgy. And based off like her real life experience or whatever as growing up in Georgia and being like, the only Asian around there, and like the discrimination and like the weird shit she experienced being different. Mm-hmm. And so we took that, she took that, and you took that, and Casey took that, and we all just came together and brought a bunch of hot Asian girls and had one delicious, wonderful fucking orgy. And oh my God, it was so wonderful. I just loved that we all came dressed to the nines and just, it was so good.
And this is something that I love about doing these kinds of projects.
Yeah.
Is the fact that, there's no, when it comes to the orgy, there was no prerequisites whatsoever. It was like, what do you all want to do?
Yeah.
And you all went bananas. There was like, and you were like, you were gung-ho for everything. You were like, fist me, I'm going to squirt. And then there was a face-sitting train.
Yes. Oh my God, that was wild.
I think that was Lulu's dream come true.
Yes.
And it was also, those of us filming it, our dreams come true. It was everyone's dream come true to see the face-sitting train.
I'm really glad it worked out logistically.
Yeah.
Because I was questioning. I was like, what's going to happen in that moment? And then when you took that little break and said, all right, now it's time for that. Yeah. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. And Casey was saying, who was also filming camera in addition to directing, she was saying that she had just got herself in the sweet spot where she just had to hold the frame and asses just kept dropping in on Lulu's face. And Lulu's face, they were so, you could tell it was like the holidays. It was amazing. I cannot wait to see that. Obviously Kimmy's amazing. That was such a beautiful idea to like take her experience and transform it into like a real celebration. You all looked so good. Mm-hmm. It was all like each of your interpretation of kind of like cute kawaii style. Uh-huh. It was like, I cannot wait for people to see it.
Yeah. Oh, and I did a first there.
What was your first?
And actually, it was like twice in that scene. I squirted from a girl before. Like, I have never squirted from a girl. I've only been strictly dude squirting shit. But like, oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, you delivered the squirt. You did. You. I think Kimmy did too. But you came out with the squirt. And fans are going to be very happy. Twice, yes. Twice.
I'm so proud of it. I'm sorry to the gentleman that had to clean it up.
Hey, you know
See
what?
him again
Sometimes, it's all in a day's work, and we're happy to help in that regard. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's go.
Okay, this one's a bit dumb, but we're going to start with it because I do want to know your answer. Do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
I just saw a fucking meme, or a little clip right before I got here about that question. That's so funny. And no, I personally don't, but I know everyone else probably does, or a lot of people do. I've had my husband argue with me several times about this situation.
Because technically, it isn't any different than a sandwich.
No, it's just the shapes of them.
It's the shape of the meat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to me, a hot dog is a hot dog. Mm-hmm. That's all.
It's a unique, a hamburger is also not a sandwich.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Good. Okay, next. Do you remember the best orgasm you've ever had?
I don't mean to talk about Oliver or whatever a lot, but I remember when we were just when he was living in Vegas and I was living in LA, and I went to Portland for an expo, and then I came back and he was watching my cats, and it was I had never had sex before, that type of sex. It was breakup, makeup, all of the types of sex, and I had barely known him like that, and it was just crazy. I swear I blacked out through so many of the orgasms. It was wonderful.
Plus he was cat sitting, which is pretty hot.
Yes, and my cats approved of him.
And there you go. That is all right. So within the context of you growing throughout the industry and trying new things and finding yourself and setting boundaries, what's one thing that you've tried sexy wise, one sex act or something that you're all right, I tried it, I don't need to do it again?
Just anything dry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some people, it's their kink. They're no, just shove it in dry. And I'm
ugh.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was ugh. But then I'm a people pleaser. So I was okay. And then I'm no. Not with just in me, but within them. And I was maybe if I just do a finger or something instead of just a whole dildo, it'll feel different. But I was no, don't like that.
Yeah, there needs to be a certain motion to the ocean, right? You can't just, it's not.
That was weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's a good response. What is your best blowjob tip? Because I need to know. What's your best blowjob tip, Avery?
I'm not gonna toot my own horn again, but I'm fucking great at giving blowjobs.
So what are the top 3 recommends?
It's all about your tongue. Mm-hmm. As much as it is when it comes to eating pussy. It's all about your tongue. Just the different pressures, the way you wrap around it. Just imagine you're sucking on a clit at the same time as sucking on a dick. Just pay as much mindful attention to that instead of just no top tips, just use your tongue.
All right, okay, so I've got 2 more for you.
Okay.
What sitcom character do you think secretly has a big dick?
I still don't know if this is considered a sitcom, but What We Do in the Shadows, Laszlo, I think he has a ginormous dick. Because he's him and his wife, Nadja, they're very sexual, vampires. Mm-hmm. So they're sexual vampires. They have sex with whoever they want to have sex with. They're gender fluid essentially, just pan and just they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they probably.
He radiates big dick energy. I don't know if anybody still says that, but yes.
Okay.
I'm sure he has a ginormous dong.
What is still, my last rapid fire, what is still on your porn bucket list?
I know it sounds so stupid because it's been so long in my career. But anal?
Yeah?
I still have not done it. An actual thorough scene. I've just been a little knocking on the door, fucking getting your shoes off in the foyer type of thing. But I've never done a full anal scene.
And is that something that you do in your private life?
Yeah, but it's spontaneous anal. It's not thought about anal.
Yeah, it's not well packaged porno anal.
Yes, and I talk to girls constantly. I'm teach me your anal ways. Because I think the most daunting part is the prep for me.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to make sure I do it right. But as having also a male performer in my house, he's told me, don't worry. it's always gonna still be there. Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna be something there. And so I'm like, okay, still. I'm like, ew,
So maybe just like a super safe space with like people that you like, know and love. Do something like nice and slow and simple. Doesn't have to be like full gapes, like nothing super crazy. And then that'll like kind of like break the prep routine in so you can work up to like, I don't know, anal acrobats or whatever it is.
Oh my God, yes. I'm just so like in awe of all the anal queens that I'm surrounded by. And I root for them every single day. And every time I see them on my feed, I'm like, good job to their buttholes.
Yeah.
I salute them.
There you go. Well, we salute you, even if it is not, if you're not yet an anal queen, but I'm sure you will be one day. But we really appreciate all the work you do, both in front of the camera and behind the camera at Adult Time. And fans should definitely check out The Best of Both with you.
Please watch my directed scenes. I'm just so proud of those projects.
Awesome. Well, we're proud of you too, Avery. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we did it.